final update on this little series of comparison reviews between the SOLOVAIR 8-hole derbies and the Doc Martens made in England in Oxblood. If you follow my channel, you'll know that I've been wearing these for 6 months now, side by side. The purpose was really to test out what the internet was telling me, that the SOLOVAIRs are everything Doc Martens used to be and more, and the Made in Englands were better than the outsourced boots, and really just sort of putting them to the test, really. So 6 months in, I've been wearing these both in turn, so I've been wearing these at work, and work includes a 3 mile a day walked commute. So over the last 6 months I've been wearing the SOLOVAIRs for 5 days, 5 working days, and the Doc Martens for the next, and that equates to probably about 220 walked miles on those commutes for each pair of boots. It equates to many days of active wear, so in addition to those 220 miles has been walking around the office, that sort of stuff. So 6 months in, where do we find ourselves? Well, I think I'm in a position to make some conclusions on these. A lot of it is down to the soles and how well built and how robust those are. So I guess that's probably where we'll start. One thing I would say is that, kind of as a piece of good news, a bit of a happy ending to this story, is that there have been no sort of material defects in either pair of these boots, no real issues with the construction, unlike what I've found with some of the outsourced Doc Martens boots from China and Thailand. So it is nice to be able to say that I think that we still make a fairly decent boot over here in the UK. But let's get into the detail. So we'll pop one of these boots either side here, and we'll just look at one of each. So one thing that people have pointed out in an earlier review is that comparing wear on the soles of different pairs of, or different feet, is maybe not a fair comparison. So we've both got both the left-hand boots here. Honestly, don't know whether that's a boot that I'll wear hardest or not. So, what do we know about these soles? Well, the Doc Martens have always worn a lot quicker and a lot harder than the SOLOVAIRs. A lot of that comes from the durometer of the soles, and way back when we did use the old durometer tester, and the Doc Martens came in at a 61, the SOLOVAIRs came in at a much tougher 66. So already you've got a tougher rubber, and in my mind that is sort of a factor in durability. You've also got on the SOLOVAIRs a much deeper, wider tread pattern. The Doc Martens here actually have a thinner and more sort of fragile sole pattern than even the outsourced boots. Even after a couple of weeks of wear, these were starting to wear down to a small flat patch, and a lot of that was to do with the treads just basically kicking off, so not very robust. And as you see here, huge patches of smooth sole there. Obviously once you get down to the smooth sole, the apparent wear does slow, because you've actually got quite a lot of wearing surface there. And on the heels, you've got half the heels worn flat, quite pronounced overpronation there. A lot of that's to do with my walking, but exaggerated somewhat by the softness of these soles. I do fear that within probably a year of sort of wear, if these were my only boots, I'd be down into the air cushion soles there. The SOLOVAIRs, well, pretty different story. The heels, no real loss of profile. It has worn down at the sides, you know, there is overpronation there, but still tread across the whole heel pattern. And we've got our first sort of thumb-sized patch of wear here, maybe a little bit bigger than thumb size, but considerably more durable is my conclusion with the soles. In terms of how the soles feel, as well as how they wear, the SOLOVAIRs are slightly heavier, they're slightly less flexible, they don't have that sort of the brand new sort of bounce that Doc Martens often have. I find that bounce does go over time, but they're a heavier sole, much more durable. I think most people will be much happier with the SOLOVAIR sole, to be honest. So pretty pleased with that. In terms of the leather, both of these have decent leather, so it's a corrected leather, so it's flattened and then coated, is my understanding. And the SOLOVAIRs are also corrected on the inside, so very smooth inner surface there. The Quillian leather on the Doc Martens have this nice sort of hairy leather feel to it, and actually that's something I really like. It makes it feel a little bit more, I don't know, leathery, but I really like the leather on these. They're both decent leathers. Unfortunately with Doc Martens, maybe down to the coloration, so it's a lot less forgiving, but I have seen deterioration in the coating around these creases here, and we're coming for a little close-up, but it isn't looking great. I think I'd be a bit disappointed. It's not a split, it's not a crack, it's really about the surface coating, and because it's a lighter colour, it isn't forgiving at all. So slightly disappointing, and sort of after this amount of wear, they're starting to look pretty well worn, and maybe be a bit disappointed with that. Depends on your sort of style, but a little bit of a disappointment on the leather, but overall both really great leathers. Now the fit, both of these, well, they'll fit how they fit. In terms of what you should think about when sizing them, I find the SOLOVAIRs to be a very generous sizing. I wouldn't go down half a size, but at the same time I went up half a size based on their online charts, and to be honest, I think I went up a little too far. I've subsequently got the Brogue derby boots, rather nice, leather lined these, so very nice indeed. These are true to size. I've gone for an 8 on these rather than the 8.5, much happier. So just bear in mind, if you're sizing up your SOLOVAIRs, I would say go true to size. They are a fairly generous last. On the Doc Martens, well, if you're used to wearing Doc Martens, apply a little bit of caution with these. These are by far the narrower or narrowest and least generous last I've found in Doc Martens. I was sure I was going to be true to size, go for an 8, and they've always been slightly tight on the sides, never quite got the better of them, never quite broken them in to be super comfy. So I think this is unusually narrow last, probably sort of a historically accurate one, but I'd definitely say if you're on the cusp, go up. Unfortunately, I don't believe Doc Martens offer half sizes, which is a little bit of a hindrance. I'm not sure if I should have gone for a 9, but certainly 8, unless I'm wearing a very thin sock, has been slightly challenging to break in. So really finally, moving on to break in. The experience on those, I've never found Doc Martens to be hugely difficult boots to break in. The main things that you've got to consider is the bellows tongue, so you've got to get your tongue broken in to get your heel back and stop that sort of rubbing at the back here. The SOLOVAIRs, generous last, much easier break-in. The tongue is a much thinner leather than the Doc Martens, making for an easier break-in. The heel cap, also on the SOLOVAIRs, a little bit easier to break in because it's felt lined. Doc Martens one's just a sort of cardboard cup. Slightly concerned about the longevity of that, but having experienced a broken sort of heel cup on one of my outsourced boots, but they're doing pretty alright at the moment. So in summary, the break-in, it's all about the tongues. SOLOVAIR's slightly easier, but neither of which are particularly challenging. So 6 months in, pretty much the end of our video here. What is the takeaway from this process? What have I learned? What can I share with you? Well, they're both very equal in price. SOLOVAIRs are actually slightly more expensive, 185 as opposed to 179 if I understand correctly. The SOLOVAIR have lived up to what people have been telling me online, the reason why I tried out SOLOVAIR in the first place, the comments I've consistently got. SOLOVAIR represent the values I think that Doc Martens became famous for. So they are a durable boot. The soles are probably the best by a long margin between sort of Doc Martens. You know, I don't think these soles can be faulted. They're very robust. They can be resoled. Both of them can be resoled, so they're heat adhered, and you can send them away and get them fixed. But the SOLOVAIR, if you want durability, you want quality. The quality control has been very good. The sole life has been brilliant. Break-in's great. The customer service buying online was fantastic as well. So I think the internet's right, to be honest. SOLOVAIRs, if you want a longevity, if you want a tough boot, I think SOLOVAIRs represent the better value. The dilemma you might have is, do you just want a pair of Doc Martens? You know, a lot of people want the yellow stitching, they want that Doc Martens look, they want the name. My honest opinion is SOLOVAIRs offer a better boot, slightly different styling. You've got the subdued tonal stitching around the edge rather than the bright yellow, but I do think you'll be happier with these boots, and I've not heard many comments which would suggest anyone's found that not to be the case. So everyone's commenting that they find these boots a better boot. They're moving from Doc Martens to SOLOVAIR, and in all honesty, my test would also bear out that conclusion. Okay, well, I hope that's useful. I hope that's an interesting end to the test, and it's been genuinely interesting to test them side by side like this. If you want to find out about the Brogue Derby boots, do check out my channel. I've got a couple of reviews up on these already, and I'll be posting a 6-month and 1-year review of those as I wear them day to day. If you haven't seen my channel before, please check it out. Lots of boot reviews, denim, everyday carry, fountain pens, pen knives, that sort of stuff. Bit of cycling, bit of running, guitar. Check it out, you might share some other common interests. If you thought this was a useful video, give it a thumbs up, share it, love it if you've subscribed, and I hope that's useful. Okay, thank you very much, bye bye.